India's domestic politics and its implications on relations with the Gulf region. The Middle East, particularly the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, plays a pivotal role in India's economy and diaspora. Approximately 9 million Indians live and work across the Middle East, with the majority concentrated in the GCC nations. This makes the region a top destination for Indian expats, who contribute significantly to India's economy through remittances. Moreover, the Middle East supplies nearly two-thirds of India's total oil imports, and bilateral trade has flourished in recent years, particularly with the UAE and other Arab states of the Persian Gulf. However, India's domestic political climate, particularly under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, has raised concerns about its impact on international relations, especially with Muslim-majority nations in the Gulf. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2024 electoral campaign has drawn significant criticism for its use of hate speech against Muslims and other minorities. According to Human Rights Watch, Modi's Hindu majoritarian Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, repeatedly made statements inciting discrimination, hostility, and violence against marginalized groups during the campaign. This rhetoric was part of a broader strategy to secure a third consecutive term in office. The BJP's leadership has been accused of fostering an environment of intolerance, with several state governments demolishing Muslims' homes, businesses, and places of worship without due process. These actions, often dubbed bulldozer justice, have been described as collective punishment against the Muslim community for communal clashes or dissent. Such practices have continued even after the election, raising serious human rights concerns. The rise in anti-Muslim violence in India is closely linked to the ideology of Hindutva, which envisions a Hindu-majority nation where citizens of other religious beliefs are relegated to second-class status. This ideology has fueled incidents like the demolition of the Babri Masjid, a 16th-century mosque in Ayodhya, by a Hindu nationalist mob in 1992. More recently, reports of violence against religious minorities have surged, with at least 28 attacks documented across the country, resulting in the deaths of 12 Muslim men and a Christian woman. One particularly harrowing incident involved the killing of a Muslim man, Muhammad Ikhlaq, who was rumored to have slaughtered a cow and consumed its meat. While a forensic report later revealed that the meat found in his home was from a goat, the incident highlights the dangerous consequences of communal rhetoric and misinformation. The targeting of Muslims in India is not limited to physical violence, but also extends to systemic discrimination and exclusion. For instance, in the capital's Interlock area, police were seen kicking Muslims as they performed Friday prayers on the road, an act that underscores the growing marginalization of the community. Such incidents have drawn international condemnation and raised questions about India's commitment to secularism and pluralism. The implications of these developments extend beyond India's borders, particularly to its relations with the Gulf region. The GCC countries, which host millions of Indian workers and maintain strong economic ties with India, are predominantly Muslim nations. Leaders in the Gulf, such as the Sheikh of Qatar, may now face a dilemma: will they consider India's domestic treatment of Muslims when negotiating agreements or fostering bilateral relations? While economic interests often take precedence in international diplomacy, the growing scrutiny of India's human rights record could influence diplomatic dynamics. The Gulf nations, which have historically valued their ties with India, may find it increasingly challenging to overlook the treatment of Muslims in the country. In conclusion, India's domestic political climate, marked by rising anti-Muslim rhetoric and violence, has significant implications for its international relations, particularly with the Gulf region. While economic and strategic ties remain strong, the treatment of minorities in India could become a point of contention in diplomatic engagements. As India continues to navigate its domestic challenges, the global community, including its Gulf partners, will be watching closely to see how it balances its commitment to pluralism with its political and economic ambitions.